Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Shantae, your host of the Girlfriends and Guides podcast. And as always, I like to remind everyone this is a safe space full of love, light, truth, and transparency. Here, we will only uplift and never tear down. I usually have tea and PJs for you, but today I actually just have this lounge dress that I got from Target, and I consumed my tea already before I started filming this. But I'm going to link the recipe because I actually tried something different today. It was a Matcha Green Tea Lemonade, and so I'm going to share my recipe with you all in the description box. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. So today's topic is going to be all about service and serving. And I actually wanted to wait until the beginning of May to do this one, but the Holy Spirit just would not let me not film something this week. So I have zero notes. I usually have everything written out, but today I just wanted to share what was in my spirit and what was on my heart in regards to service and serving. And when I think about service, to me, it's just meeting the needs of someone else outside of yourself. And when I think about serving, it's also similar in the fact that you're meeting the needs of someone else, but to me it's so much more important because you're not just meeting the needs of any old person. You're meeting the needs of God's people. It's been real heavy on my heart lately about the attitude in which I'm serving in, the posture in which I'm serving in. And I say that because I don't take it lightly at all being privileged to serve. I treat it as an honor and a truly, truly, truly important blessing to be able to serve God's people, and I don't take it lightly. And with that being said, I'm saying this because I've reached a level of spiritual maturity to where I recognize when I'm not in a position to serve. And I'm not saying that I haven't been in a position to serve, but what I'm saying is I have to make sure that my attitude is in check when I'm serving God's people. I have to make sure that my heart is right when I'm serving God's people. I have to make sure that I have left all of my problems, all of my issues at the door when it comes to serving God's people. And it's not to say that sometimes I'm not serving while I'm going through things, or that I'm in a hurting place. But what I don't do is serve from a place of hatred or serve from a place of selfishness. And I think that's very, very important because number one, God and hatred can't coexist. You can't harbor hate in your heart for anyone or people and say that you're here to serve God's people. You just can't do it. It simply just does not go hand in hand. I definitely wanted to make a point when I say it doesn't mean that sometimes I'm not serving from a place of struggle or strife, but it's a struggle or strife with an issue that I can't even say that I'm struggling with because, truth be told, I would have given it to God. And then the other side of that is it's just the human nature side too. Even though sometimes we give it to God, we still tend to try to worry, which is something that I'm working on. Just give it to God and let it go. Let go and let God. That's truly what I am trying to do in this new season of life. And I still want to make the point of serving from a place where you've put something in God's hands that you might have to deal with, or a decision that you would have to make, is different from serving from a place of emptiness. The difference is this issue is outside of my focus on what I'm doing in the serving realm. If I'm serving from an empty place, it means I have nothing to give. So you can't really serve if you've got nothing to give. And I think it's important to not try to serve when you don't have anything to give because it ends up transferring oftentimes into something else. And I know as much as we like to say that we're pushing through and we're going to persist. There's a difference in pushing through and persisting, and then having a um, unkind spirit on you. You're in a mood where you don't feel like being bothered. You can't even smile. You don't want to talk to people, or you're just not in the mood to be around people. On days like that, the right thing to do is just to sit down, stay at home. Do not transfer that spirit onto anyone else. And I say that because you just never know who you're going to encounter on a day where you're serving. And so I don't have a lot to say, honestly. I just felt it in my spirit that it was absolutely important to get on here and say those things. Um, Again, I reiterate, for me, it's a blessing to be a blessing. I serve from a place of selflessness, not selfishness. When I know that my posture isn't in a serving position to be able to serve God's people that day, I stay at home. Um, I refuse to ever give the devil victory, especially when it comes to how I interact with God's people. I'd rather just stay at home by myself or just stay at home with my kids before I decide to show up in a capacity or really even leave my house. Show up or leave my house in a capacity to where I could encounter any of God's people and I transfer something onto them that they didn't ask for. And truth be told, oftentimes they don't need, because a lot of people are going through a lot of things. What they don't need is my added attitude, my negativity, my rudeness. They don't need that. They didn't ask for that and they don't deserve that. And so I treat every day that I am outside of these walls of my home as an opportunity to serve God's people. And with that being said, it just means I'm going to walk out this door putting my best foot forward. I am not going to be rude out in public. You won't catch me going off on random people out in public. Now, I can't say that I was always this way, because those closest to me know. Um, At one point in time, it was just kind of like I just didn't care. If you rubbed me the wrong way, I was gonna make sure you knew about it. And I'm not saying that to boast it or brag on it, but what I'm saying is I did the work. I've done the work. I've recognized that you can't be that way and think that you're going to be able to reach God's people. I hope this blessed you. I hope it didn't come off as me pointing the finger at you, because honestly, it has absolutely nothing to do with anyone in particularly personally. It's just something that resonated with my spirit. And maybe it's serving as just a reminder, like always make sure that you're in right standing with God before you step out and try to serve his people. As always, be blessed. I know this was short, but it was short, sweet, and I hope that it was informative. And I hope that you take something from it. And I hope that it makes you a better servant of God and God's people at the end of the day. I will see you all next week for a full episode of the Girlfriends and Gossip podcast. But until then, guys, be blessed. And as always, I love you. And I hope that you have yourself a wonderful afternoon, night, day, and rest of your week and weekend. Later.